Welcome back to RPS at Home, English 8th grade. I'm Miss Lopez and I'm a high school teacher over at John Marshall. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Let's get started with day one of comparing and contrasting poetry. Now I know that a lot of the things we're going to talk about are going to be a review, and a lot of the terms you probably, if not definitely, have heard before. So hopefully this is just us reminding you of some of these concepts, okay? So this is our learning objective for the week. The words I highlighted are definitely going to be the ones we focused on the most, okay? And we are going to specifically look at poetry, okay? Your learning target will be to identify these techniques in examples of 2 short poems that I'm going to give you at the end, okay? And really this first video is just going to be about me giving you those definitions so that you know how to complete the assignment at the end, okay? So let's refamiliarize ourselves with word choice. This one is pretty self-explanatory. I know you guys have social media or text messaging abilities, so if you're constantly thinking about word choice, whether you realize it or not, okay? Our words have a lot of effect on other people. I don't know if any of you have, but I've definitely gotten into arguments with friends over misunderstandings because they didn't get what I was trying to say over a text message or on social media, because face to face we can show those emotions, but it's not always clear when we're typing it. So I'm sure that may have happened to some of you. It happens to a lot of us, okay? So our word choice is not only important in our day-to-day interactions, but also when we're writing, okay? If you are writing that the character in your story is skinny, it's not necessarily a negative thing, but if the same character is described as scrawny, and that might be such a positive thing. Skinny and scrawny technically mean the same thing, but they have different connotations or emotional definitions that make them feel different when we hear them, okay? Same with calling someone thick and fat, okay? Thick might be a compliment, fat is an insult. It's all about perception. So not only, you already know this, but the words we choose every day to use have a lot of power, okay? But also where we put them, and especially in poetry, it can change the entire meaning of the whole poem. All right, so for example, we're going to just start with this sentence here. I'm going to show you a little trick that I learned when I was in middle school myself, okay? So this sentence, this lovely, lovely sentence right here. He told her he loved her. How romantic. If we took the word only and put it anywhere in that sentence, we could change the meaning about 10 times, okay? So let me show you an example. So he told her that he loved her, just point blank. But if we add the only in there and we put it in the beginning, he only told her that he loved her. Oh, he only told her that he loved her. No big deal. It suddenly has a completely new meaning. And the same thing goes for when we change it to the end. He told her he only loved her, okay? So he's saying, baby girl, you're the only one for me, all right? Now he's this romantic. We're here for it, okay? Now, if you want to try for yourself, I suggest you pause the video right now and see how many you can come up with on your own. I will show you again the first 2 we came up with together, okay? And then pause right now if you want to figure out some for your own. If not, I'm just going to show you the ones I came up with. If you find even more than I did, whew, fantastic, okay? Because I definitely don't know everything. So if we put the only here, he told only her he loved her. Now they have a secret romance. He's not going to tell anybody, okay? He told her only he loved her. Ooh, now the boyfriend's turning a little psycho, okay? Now he's getting a little controlling, okay? And the last one I have is he told her he loved only her. I love nothing else in this world but you, okay? So the story can go from really romantic to really creepy to a little possessive. It changed the meaning every single time. Like I said, if you found more than me, fantastic, okay? Now, let's talk about the definition of the other terms we're going to be focusing on, okay? Form, rhyme, rhythm, and voice. Now, in a second, I'm going to flip to the next slide that's going to have all these definitions. I'm not going to read these definitions out to you because I know you can read. I suggest you take a screenshot of the next slide. You can copy notes down for yourself in a notebook. That's what helps me remember things, okay? But we're going to be using these definitions all week, so they're definitely going to be helping you, okay? Explain them briefly in summary, but I'm not going to give you the same words that are on this page, okay? So form usually is the kind of poem that we're talking about, a haiku, a sonnet, okay? It has to follow a certain set of rules to be that kind of poem. But, okay, a lot of poems don't have a form. The poem we're looking at today does not have a form. It is free form, okay? But that doesn't mean it doesn't still have things that set it up to be a poem. So for example, the number of lines, not sentences, okay, or the number of stanzas, which is a poem paragraph, okay, and perhaps a rhyme scheme. Okay, now I know you know what rhyme and rhythm is. They kind of go hand in hand. Besides knowing what rhyme is from popular music, okay, and rhythm as well, they go along together to create a natural flow in poetry. And many of you may know this or may not, but every rap song is a poem set to music, and they rely on rhyme and rhythm, okay, to create that flow. Every time you hear a rapper and you think, oh, bars, okay, it's because rhyme and rhythm are working together to create those good lines that you're talking about, okay? And lastly, we're talking about voice, which is not different from point of view and stories that you do, first person, second person, third person. We're not so much focusing on that, but really the voice the author is either creating by adding a character into a poem, okay, or telling a story that way, or the voice of themselves that they're putting into a poem, okay, that can completely change the meaning of it entirely. All right, so we're going to focus on those four things specifically. I don't want you to think we're not going to talk about word choices, because word choice has to do with all of these four things that we're talking about. So word choice is what we're always talking about when we're talking about form, rhyme, rhythm, and voice. Okay, so we are going to try the beginning of this activity together, and then you are going to finish it on your own. I know you guys have done some Robert Frost in the past couple weeks. Hopefully this is a new poem for you. Okay, I'll read it real quick. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if I had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. Okay? Now, if we are going back to our definitions of what we should be looking for, I already told you, it's a free-form poem. Okay? So it's not a haiku. It doesn't follow any rules like that. Okay? But it definitely has one stanza, so one poem paragraph, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines. So if a question were to ask you what is the form of this poem, you would say free form. It has one stanza and 9 lines, because that's what you know about it. Okay? Now, if we were to talk about the rhyme of this poem, we have to first find the rhyme scheme. Now, I'm sure you heard when I read it, you heard the rhyming ends of a lot of words. Some repeated, some were back to back, some were separated. So, if the first line is, some say the world will end in fire, we put an A next to fire. Some say in ice. Ice and fire don't rhyme, so we put a B next to ice. Desire sure does rhyme with fire, so we're going to put the letter A. And same with the next line that also rhymes with those from before, we're going to also put A. Now, twice, going back to the ice up top, okay, rhymes there. So your rhyme scheme so far should be A, B, A, A, B. Now, I want you again to try to pause the video and try to do it on your own. Okay, and after you've tried it on your own, here's the rest of the rhyme scheme. Hopefully you guys got it. Okay, C, B, C, B. Now the rhythm was working along with the rhyme. As if you notice when I was reading along, a lot of the words that are lines, that have the same amount of syllables. So some say the world will end in fire, okay? From what I've tasted of desire, okay? So those lines, they rhyme and have the same amount of syllables. Same with some say in ice and would suffice, okay? So the rhythm goes along with the rhyme to help it flow. Lastly, when we're talking about the voice of it, we want to consider the pronouns that the author is using. If you don't remember what a pronoun is, that is he, she, we, me, you, I, they. Those are all pronouns. So looking at the poem, what do we have? We have I've, I, okay? So clearly what Robert Frost is trying to tell us as readers is that these are his opinions. This is his feelings in the matter, okay? He did not create a character for us. He is speaking as himself, okay? Now it's your turn. Reread the poem closely and try to answer the questions on your own. Then you're going to do the same thing for a second poem. The questions are going to be all about things you learned today, but it's also going to ask you to talk about figurative language, which I know you learned 2 weeks ago. So I hope your memories are still fresh. If you need any help, don't worry, we're going to go over the answers tomorrow, but try your best to do them on your own tonight. See you tomorrow.